All right, Shalom. I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, YAHAWAHSHI'S, Ba'ashem, Require Kadash, double honors, sorry, double honors to the apostles of GMS, and a sincere Shalom to the brothers out here pushing this truth and sincerity. And what I have here is an article about the Supreme Court showdown over Sabbath could change workplaces across the U.S. Now, I'm not sure if they actually gonna go through with that, but apparently this is about a guy who might be Edomite or may not be Edomite. How you got actual Edomites out there that are actual right wing Christians. So who can say? But it's basically about this guy who resigned from Postal because they wanted him to work Sundays, but he didn't want to work Sundays because, quote unquote, the Sabbath or that day, which, by the way, is not on that day. It goes by the moon. So if he was actually going correctly by the moon, first of all, he probably wouldn't even have a job because even in this society, we have to work even on the day of or nowadays on the Sabbath. That doesn't mean he's holier or better than what we are, because we have to agree with our adversary. We know how to actually do things on the Sabbath because we are in a captivity. We got to do things correctly. We can't keep the law 100%. Now, I'm gonna start this off with Matthew 12:26. It says, "And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand?" Now, like I said, I don't know if this is an Edomite, but he could very well be. And when you got your own, when these rats who are definitely like Satan, well, their own form of Satan, get their own minions to come up against them, basically, how can they actually stand if this society doesn't even work well? And then the funny part is, this goes to show you that this so-called God-fearing Christian society doesn't actually fear God, because believe it or not, if they was going by quote unquote the Sabbath, or if it was a Sunday, everything should be shut down. But that proves to you that this is not a Christian society. This is a Roman society where everything's just built, just has every religion in one. So that should tell you a lot. Now, somewhere in this article, as I read, and I remember this even going to work, because I'm sorry, not even when you sign up for work, I'm basically trying to go in for an interview. They give you a list of papers, basically asking a list of questions about your ethnicity and this and such. And on those papers, as I've noticed, it's about what religion you basically follow or something. I remember that on some of the work jobs I used to go to. I don't see them now as much, depending on which one you go to. But just reading in some of this, it says the federal law requires employers to accommodate the religious beliefs of workers unless it would impose undue hardship on a business. Now, it says federal law requires this. Federal law, right? So let's scroll down a bit, because apparently this guy's name is Groff. It says the USPS, because that's what he worked for. It says Groff's refusal to work Sundays imposed a significant cost on operations, alleging the absence created a tense atmosphere and bred resentment towards management, and that the need to find a substitute was time consuming. But it's still, but as they say, it's still required. The federal law requires employers to accommodate the religious beliefs, right? So here's what the court says: the two lower federal courts agreed. He says an employer is not required to accommodate at all costs. But I thought the federal law said otherwise. That goes to show you that this society is nothing but a big ass lie. Let me see. Here we go. This is Micah 6:12. It says, "For the rich men thereof are full of violence, and the inhabitants thereof has spoken lies, and their tongue is deceitful in their mouth." This place is ran by deceit, by rich men that are full of violence. That makes this society nothing but violence, with lying tongues in every way. See, America is nothing but a big America is nothing but a big business. And within that business has other businesses. UPS, FedEx, just your average job. They're the rich men compared to your employers. I mean, the employees. They make more than the employees does, so they get to do the same thing that these rats do. And the court says, "Yeah, we agree." They put up all these amendments that people believe that they have, and these amendments only work for so much. But the majority of the times, their amendments never matter. They only matter when it depends on the circumstance and the time of when they want to get you and when they don't want to get you. This place is nothing but violence. I see nothing left. I see left and right about how people pull up these videos and try to defend themselves from cops, but you don't see this in the black community. You don't. How should I say? I don't even see black people doing this shit. But hell, the times that they were doing it, cops were pulling them out of their car anyways. Edomites, they get away with it more than we can. Of course, it still happens to them regardless. But it's the fact that this society doesn't uphold their laws or their rights, only if it benefits them. So this guy was taking it to the Supreme Court, and it's like, what are you doing? You just wasting your time trying to, because his whole point was going to court to make the Sabbath an actual thing for all workplaces, and that would even work remotely because not everybody's a Christian. Of course, they'll use that to their advantage to get a free day off if they want, and that's why I don't even hell it may happen, but that's why I know for a fact that they ain't gonna make a job take off a Sunday. The Sabbath never mattered to these people. That's the whole opposition of the society. You have a Christian trying to make the court take off Sundays for the Sabbath, and again, the Sabbath doesn't even go by by the days, or at least by the days on the calendar. It goes by the moon. So the fact that this even ended up in court or even on the news is actually kind of hysterical. But that's why we know how to work around, because if we had to work on the Sabbath, we have to work on the Sabbath. Now we try our best not to do certain things on the Sabbath, but that's what separates us from anybody else, is that we understand how to do it. Even when it says agree with our adversaries. So this is Deuteronomy 28:68. It says, "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way by the way whereof I speak unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you." And that's how. Firstly, you don't even see our own people going up into the courthouse asking for that, especially the people in the churches. They go to Sundays, they find a way, or if they go to work. But we've been sold into captivity. We don't get a say on how to did that shit. And like I said, if he's an Edomite, he can do that shit. He got to go in there court and ask for all this other shit. Doesn't mean he was going to get it. But this place is ran off of money. They're going to keep this money flowing, and they're going to have people working all days if they want to. Now, And again, we don't get that type of leverage. We understand in this society we're meant to serve captivity. So we do the best that we can according to the scriptures. So this is Ephesians 6 and 11. It says, put on the whole armor of Yahweh that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. So being able to do that is knowing how to maneuver in a society. Hey, we know, going back into even going into First Chronicles 16:11, it says, seek the Lord in his strength, seek his face continually. How do we do that? By trying the best we can. We can't go up. We know full well none of us is going into a courthouse to ask Esau any goddamn thing, because we're knowing that the devil he is. We're just here to serve time until the Lord comes back and ultimately destroy this place. But how do we serve our time? Is not being like these other people out here, not being like the freedom fighters out here. We gotta go accordingly to how the Lord has done it. He even hung with Republicans. How do you go about it? Because he used guile. He knows how to use that advantage. We got to be the same way, even in captivity. So our Sabbath is our way of showing patience and knowledge on how to actually maneuver around things in this society. And that's what makes us better than even this Christian. Because Christians don't understand how the Sabbath works. And this place is ultimately going to fall anyways. So that's pretty much all I had going to that. So Lord willing, this is edifying. And with that, shalom.